check out this huge move in Tesla. That stock is up nearly 12% after its own big beat. There it is right now, 11%. You're pushing $650 in the aftermarket. Let's get to Phil LeBeau with more details. Phil, why is this stock up so sharply after hours?
Great Q4 numbers and even better guidance. If you're a Tesla bull, there was very little to be disappointed in when it comes to this report from Tesla. Let's talk about the numbers for the fourth quarter. Beat on the top and the bottom line by a wide margin, earning $2.14 a share versus the expectation of $1.72 a share. Revenue coming in better than expected at $7.3 billion. Not bad. But here's the reason, Scott, that I think the stock is really taking off. The guidance in terms of deliveries for 2020. Now, just for a point of reference, remember, they delivered just over 360,000 vehicles last year. Most on the street were in somewhere between the 465 and 475,000 as an expectation for 2020. Tesla says it will comfortably exceed 500,000 vehicles being delivered this year. A couple other notes from the company's guidance when it comes to 2020 and beyond. Model Y production ramp has already begun out in Fremont, California. Model Y production, that will begin in Shanghai starting in 2021. It is planning limited sales of the Tesla Semi this year. So we will see it out on the road. And then you have Tesla solar and storage deployments to grow by at least 50%. Conference call starts at 6:30, Scott. Curious what Elon Musk will sound like on this call. There have been times when we have seen them post better than expected earnings, and he's been a little subdued. Will that be the case today? Always the call is perhaps the most interesting part of Tesla earnings days.
He's probably doing a double take like everybody else. Phil, thank you. We'll see what he says. We'll be back to you as needed. All right, Tim.
So, look, the profitability is impressive, and the guide. The more important thing is what they actually did. When you look at the free cash flow and you look at the margin,
comfortably exceed 500,000 units. I mean, Phil hit the nail on the head.
But again, they hit 367 when they guided 360 to 400, and so that doesn't give me some sense that they're going to wildly beat when in fact they barely made their number at the bottom end of a range. But again, good for them. The 500,000 on the guide is something that I don't think you get excited about if you're a Tesla bull. I think what you get excited about is the profitability and $6.3 billion on the balance sheet. And by the way, get out there and do a raise right here at this valuation, so you never have to worry about capital then. Because as far as I'm concerned, with all the growth that these guys are talking about, they are going to continue to burn some cash. So why wouldn't you get out there and raise money here?
This kind of move, though, in the stock is not getting overly excited just about a 500,000 number, though. It is about earnings. It's about cash flow. It's about gross margins. It's about the guide.
It's
about the whole kit and caboodle.
It was not even a year ago we were concerned that they wouldn't be able to raise money and that they might go out of business. Now, all of a sudden, they've got billions on their balance sheet. And I think Tim brings up a great point. If there's a risk to this stock, is that Elon Musk says, hey, you know what? We should raise some money here. Maybe we do a secondary out there. I think that's probably the risk on the bearer side, but I'm not standing in front of it by any means.
Yeah, really interesting here. I've been wrong on this thing for hundreds of points. I don't have a position in it, and it's just this is an all-out mania. I think it's really important to remember that. I've seen very few like this in my nearly 25 years in the business. Make no mistake about it. They've gained the market capitalization of GM, a company that does $140 billion in sales, in a matter of months here. So it's a mania. High short interest, we were just talking about it. Most of Wall Street analysts are off sides on it. There's only 9 buy ratings, I think 11 holds and 17 sells or something like that. So
you can understand that too, right? I mean, to many people, they view it the same way you do. You're buying a dream.
Well, listen, I think it's fair to say last June when this stock, when they reported their Q2 or something like that, there was serious capital concerns, right? They were missing their productivity levels. They were building this mass market car intense. There was lots of questions about why they bought in Solar City the prior year. It literally sounded like a disaster. I mean, that sort of thing. So
stocks at the highs.
He
right
was
now, by the way, after 654.
Again, the short interest in this name and the mania, whatever you want to call it around it, means that people are scrambling. And look, the thing I wonder about is 7.38 billion when they were 7.23 billion last year, when they had record sales this year. So the fact is, the year-over-year revenue number isn't really that impressive, and it's a little bit confusing. But to be clear, the most important thing to me is someone who's very bearish on the stock. Someone who thought that actually they had bankruptcy issues at least to address, and that they were cutting back on capex, they were cutting back every place that they could, is that there's cash on the balance sheet, and they have the ability to double that if they went out there and really just put people on the sideline who are concerned about their burning cash.
Let me say this,
it's a growth company.
In your defense, You're not the only one who thought that
Yeah,
or
look,
continues
it's all
to
good.
think that.
Yeah.
I mean, it's the truth. There still are a lot of haters on this name who think that fundamentally the company is never going to deliver on what the dreamers believe that it's going to.
That's more fuel for the fire.
But the dreamers, you know, their dream is, you see the last couple quarters, and I'm not going to pretend because I've been right with everybody else. I mean, I thought maybe it had a chance from 170 to get to 250, 275, and now here we are, to your point, 650. So clearly wrong. But, you know, the bulls will say the dreams, the bold dreams are now becoming reality right in front of our face. So it's hard for me. Look, I get it. I get both sides of the argument. But when I say price is truth, this is what I'm talking about. We can talk negative all we want. Here we find ourselves at 650 with the stock being 170 seemingly only just a handful of months ago. But to Tim's point, if there were ever a time to shore up a balance sheet even further, I mean, a secondary makes just a whole lot of sense right here.